I'm Juniper Tyree. I'm a PhD student at the University of Helsinki, and I'm researching on data compression as part of the ESiWACE3 project. As we are facing the threats of the climate crisis, we need our climate scientists and meteorologists to build ever bigger and better climate models so we can predict the threats that are facing us and also know how to design our policy goals. Now, as our models are getting bigger and better, they're also producing ever more data, so much so that storing, transferring, and analyzing this data is getting excessively costly and also is taking more and more time. In order to avoid limiting our climate scientists at some point, we need data compression so we can handle this increasing amount of data and can make sure that our climate scientists can continue building larger and more detailed models and can protect our future. Now, one major approach we have in ESiWACE to explore data compression and to convince scientists how to apply lossy compression safely is what we call the online laboratory for data compression. Now, this consists of two main parts. One are example computational notebooks, where we give some example data sets, show how they can be compressed, and give some sort of use case stories for the different types of variables like temperature or precipitation that you might want to compress and what you need to watch out for to make sure no real information is lost. And of course, those notebooks then also provide opportunities for scientists to try out their own data so they can convince themselves with their own analyses that, yes, this is something that could really work for me and that I can apply safely. The other part of the online laboratory for data compression is to make this process as accessible as possible. What we don't want is when we are trying to go out and convince scientists that data compression is safe, is to first start with a list of here's a computational environment you need to set up. Please spend 20 minutes screaming at your laptop for installation failures. No, what we want is for them to be able to try something out as quickly and easily as possible, just within a coffee break. So that makes it a lot easier for them to convince themselves. And so what we've been building for that is the online part of the online laboratory, which looks just like a normal website, but allows you to run computational notebooks with all important packages in the climate and weather analysis community pre-installed. So you can go within a minute of just opening your web browser, trying out these examples and convincing yourself that data compression is something you can apply with your own data safely. Now, with ESiWACE, we're in a journey towards what we call fearless lossy data compression here. Before the project, there were a lot of existing approaches in lossy data compression that promised very high compression ratios, but which weren't really applied because of that fear that lossy data compression might lose some important information. Where we are right now in the project is that we've now built the first version of this online laboratory, with which we now want to go out to the scientific community with two important goals. One is to really find what requirements there are for the error we can live with when we lossily compress data. So 4 different variables. Which type of error? Is it an absolute or relative error? And how much of that error we can live with and we can tolerate in scientific analyses? To really find that and build a table of those requirements. And on the other side, to then look at the current methods that exist for lossy data compression and match that up with the table so that at the end of the project, we can go back on the one hand to the climate science community and say, given those strict requirements, here's the best compression you can achieve with current methods. And on the other hand, to go back to the informational computer science community and say, those are the areas where we think more compression might be possible, but we just need better algorithms. And here are the specific requirements you could check future compressors with to make sure that you're serving our community specifically. So at this point, we have built the online laboratory for data compression, and it is ready for use. So now we need you. We would love for you to try it out with your own data, with your own analysis you want to run on that data, so we can really narrow down the requirements we have for lossy data compression as a community, so that in 2 years we can come back to you with our recommendations for how you can apply lossy data compression safely, so it doesn't impact the scientific analysis you want to do on your data afterwards, and so that you can benefit from working with much smaller data sizes.